Welcome to Modern Management of the Older Adult, brought to you by the Institute of Clinical Excellence.
Good evening, friends. Welcome to the Modern Management of the Older Adult podcast. My name is Dr. Samantha Chamberlain. I am a TA within the MMOA division of the Institute of Clinical Excellence, and I am excited to be here this evening to talk to you about listening well. I want to prepare you to listen well, not necessarily to me in this moment, but it might help you, but to listen to your patients, to humanize the human that is in front of you in that scenario, to value their life experiences, and to value their current experience in life that they're coming to you to navigate. More specifically, I want to help you listen well to your patient who is an older adult. If you followed ICE for long, you know it is important to us to be the provider that not only listens, but listens well. Our current CEO, Dr. Jeff Moore, has a great formula for a solid initial evaluation, and it starts by listening well, beginning with symptomology. So how can we be intentional about getting symptom behavior while also avoiding the rabbit hole that tends to be the stories and decades of back pain or the decades of things that may have led to their current scenario that we sometimes get when we say, when did this start? And so you still want to value their experience and get that symptom behavior first while still listening well. So they are not a total knee replacement. They are a person with a total knee arthroplasty or a total knee replacement. They have more than a knee. Yeah, duh. We all know that someone has more than a knee if they're coming into your clinic. But what I mean by this is that they are more than their referral. And there's usually more going on than a recent surgery. Again, if you've been following ICE or the MMOA division for very long at all, you know that our crew spends a lot of time on valuing the person that you are treating. And the treatment formula for that Dr. Julie Brower coined for us is make it meaningful, load it, dose it. So you would have a really hard time making it meaningful without going beyond the basic common answer of, I have knee pain, I want it better. Yeah, we know. Okay, you've had a total knee arthroplasty, you've had this knee replacement. What was the final limitation that led to that knee surgery? Listen to the answer. Dive into that answer. Then follow up with, were you having any ankle or hip pain? How long were you walking with a limp? Were you having any back or shoulder issues? Are you currently? Humanize the human beyond their referral. They are a whole person. You want to know more information about that person, okay? Then we're going to value their experience within their body. We have had several ICE faculty who've had family members in hospital systems over the last few months. In all three of the specific cases that I am thinking of, my own family member included, their diagnosis was at some point brushed off as age. The issue was age. They were fine the day before. They were not fine when they came to the hospital, and it was brushed off as they were older. That one day of aging did not land them in the hospital. Accumulation of things did, but also they were doing okay one day and not the next, and aging was not the cause of that. This is in different regions throughout the country. This is in different hospital systems. This is with different providers. So it's not like all of our family members went to the same hospital and this was like an isolated issue. This is an issue across healthcare, across the country. So this happens when you get older. It is not a diagnosis that we should settle for ourselves, for our family members, or as a reason for them to be coming to us, right? Oh, well, you're just older. Of course, you're having some musculoskeletal pain. That's not gonna work, okay? So each older adult you've encountered has been living in their body since they were born, since they were created. They have previous experiences. They have data points to compare their current experience to. So what may have been a cough has now escalated, and it is a severe cough that they know because they have had a cold before, because they have had the flu before, they have had allergies before. They know that it is beyond their ability to care for themselves, and they are going to seek medical care. They have more data points than most of the providers that I'm talking to right now because they have lived in their body longer than we have lived in ours. So they know, usually, sometimes they wait too long, but we all do that. Sometimes they go too soon. So sometimes we don't always get it wrong or right. Sometimes we don't always get it wrong either. Sometimes we do get it right. But we have those data points on how our bodies feel, and we know when something is not right. So value that. The same with pain. Like, it may be not a medical, like, hospitalization scenario, but the same thing with pain. They've had an achy shoulder. They've had different pains throughout their body. So they're probably coming to you, if it's not from surgical purposes, they have probably decided to seek treatment because the pain is persisting or the pain is different than what they've experienced before. Usually it's because it's both, like, and not or, right? It's ongoing and it feels different than some of the aches and pains they've had in the past that do eventually go away. So value their life experience and their experience within their body. They know them better than any medical provider ever will. They know what their experience is and when they need help outside themselves. So also, this is a great time to think of those red and yellow flags, right? Of course, red flags we're sending out immediately, but yellow flags are something that we want to monitor and follow up with to determine if they need to go to a provider for care outside of our scope of practice. So be listening to the things they say and follow up on those yellow flags that kind of get your attention a little bit more than some other things that we can manage in a PT clinic or as OT, fitness providers, whatever it may be. And of course, listen well to their current experience. I start my evals with symptomology, with symptom behavior. Where is your pain, or where are you having balance deficits most often? How bad is it? What aggravates it? What eases it? What's the irritability? Your typical symptomology. Then I dive into nutrition, water, sleep, and stress. That is what the beginning of my interaction with someone looks like. Symptomology, and then those 4 questions. Sometimes those 4 are quick. We kind of just go through them. I get a little bit of information. I do a little bit of suggestions. And sometimes I can tell someone's open to learning more. Sometimes I can tell they're like, yeah, I've got it. And I just have planted that seed to further discuss it at a later date. It's not my priority in that moment. But sometimes that question, those 4 questions, are what last the longest. For example, last week, I had an individual that I have seen in the past, repeat customer, so to speak. Over the last 2 to 3 years, she has had one shoulder or the other, one hand or the other, bothering her to the point that she could no longer do her job. Like, she used to cook. She did a lot of stirring. I believe she cooked for a daycare. Excuse me. And excuse me, trying to avoid a coughing fit. One hand or the other had been hurting. She had a history of carpal tunnel syndrome, had avoided surgery at one point, and then last year, when she was outside my care, she did go ahead and seek treatment. She's had some CRPS diagnosis on one hand, and now it's presenting in the other hand. The hand that we were working on when I was seeing her a year and a half or so ago had gotten quite a bit better. Like, she's able to use it. It doesn't close all the way, but it's no longer painful for her. So she had made some progress. So when I said to this individual, how's your nutrition? Usually my next question is, are you getting good amounts of vegetables and protein? Like, if they kind of pause to answer that, how's your nutrition? Like, if they're unsure exactly what I mean, then I go ahead and follow it up with, like, are you getting enough food? Are you getting good? Because of course everyone thinks, like, are you on a diet? When you initially say that's why I don't say, what's your diet like? I say, how's your nutrition? What's that look like for you? Are you getting a good amount of protein? Are you getting a good amount of vegetables? Before I got that second part out, she said, it's crap. Okay. Initially, my brain goes to, okay, she's eating, drinking pop, eating sugar, eating fried food, whatever that may be. That's kind of what crap means in my head, but I know that's not always the case. So instead, I say, how so? She said she doesn't eat. She doesn't have an appetite. When she does eat, it's something like sandwiches and chips. It's something easy, is what she said. And I said, why? Why are you going for the easy stuff? Because of her hand or her shoulder or something is limiting her from wanting to do any kind of stirring or stuff where she's having to lift pans, stuff where she's having to lift pans of water, whatever it may be, getting stuff in and out of the oven. Anything that is more difficult or heavy than making a sandwich just was off the table for her for the last 2 to 3 years. Remember, I said this individual was a cook for a job before this. So she's no longer been working. She's no longer been cooking. She can't prepare meals for her family. This is something that she greatly enjoyed doing. At this point, she is in tears. And all I asked was, how's her nutrition? Her sister was with her, and her sister was quick to, once she started getting teary-eyed and having to pause to collect herself, her sister said, don't do that. Like, stop. It's okay. And I said, no, she can cry. Like, I validated that it was okay to be upset that she was not able to provide something for her family that she enjoyed doing, that she valued as part of her role within her family, was providing those meals. I validated how she was feeling. I let her know it was okay to be upset and that it was okay to be frustrated that she couldn't do these things that she valued. And then we navigated past it, right? We tried different approaches. We thought of different things that we could do, like whether it was just having fresh vegetables available, like, she could wash them, put them in her fridge, have them ready, almonds, walnuts, things like that she could just grab and snack on instead of chips and sandwiches. So we discussed some suggestions based on her preferences that did not require, pulling stuff out of the oven or pots and pans or long time cooking. Now, I tell you that to say while helping someone's musculoskeletal pain is, of course, very important, or to help that whole system is important, acknowledging their life beyond their musculoskeletal system and outside of appointments is also very, very important. And it can go a long way in building the therapeutic alliance, as well as someone showing that they heard them, like feeling like they were listened to and their true needs were addressed in a manner that probably hasn't been done up to that point. So, to listen well, we are going to humanize the human. It's that people first language. We're usually taught it in school. It kind of goes out the window when you get busy, but I challenge you for the rest of the week or the rest of the month, for the rest of your career, but especially very intentionally in your setting to try to use people first language. The person with a total knee replacement. The person with dementia, the person with, right? So person first. Value their life experiences. At initial evaluation, this means acknowledging that they are seeking help for an ache pain that they've had probably for some time, that maybe usually has gone away and now it hasn't, and so they're coming to you. This can also go beyond that, and as you build that therapeutic alliance, you can value their life experiences that they share with you, because the more that they see that you care, the more of those life pearls that they give you, and those are extremely valuable, and we have a lot to learn from our adults who are older. Lastly, value what they are experiencing because of their current circumstances. Maybe it's limitations due to pain. Maybe they are fearful to care for their animals because they have neuropathy and they feel unsteady all the time. I have a farmer, right? I have a patient who is a farmer that is having a hard time getting hay out or feeding the cattle right now. He also just had a bunch of cows born. So he was leading up to March. He knew they were going to be calving in March. And so leading up to it, we were really working on neuropathy symptoms and unsteadiness so that he would not be limited on going out. So that his son and son-in-law would not have to do most of the work for him. Because that is something that he values in his life, is being able to do that farm work. And I think it's important that he continues that to keep himself active. Maybe it's fear to pick up a grandbaby due to balance, grip, fear of pain onset. And I'll be making a reel on that later this week on a way that we navigated around that. After someone said it, I kind of dove into it. I'm like, but anyway, I don't want to get into that right now. So stay tuned to this webpage or this Instagram, and there'll be a reel on that this week. Or maybe it's heartache due to not being able to cook meals for their family. Acknowledge it, validate the experience, and then navigate ways to help make it possible to do some step of it. Maybe it's not the whole thing at once. Obviously, we know a lot of these goals are long-term, but maybe you're able to do it in steps. Maybe you're able to do part of something that they haven't been able to do any of, or didn't think they could do any of because they couldn't do the whole thing and hadn't thought about breaking it into pieces. I really want to hear what you guys think about this. I want to hear if you've ever been listened to well from a medical provider and what it felt like to be heard. What was that like for you, and what was done to make you feel like you were heard? Also, we'd love to see you in one of our live or online courses. We have, this coming weekend's Easter, so we're, staying put, but the next weekend, April 6th, we have a quadruple header. We have 4 courses, 4 lives. This is crazy. I think this is the first quadruple that we've had. We'll be Urbana, Illinois, Raleigh, North Carolina, Burlington, New Jersey, and Gretna, I don't know what I wrote down. Louisiana. Okay. That's all on April 6th. So that East Coast and Central Eastern United States, April 6th, we have you covered. The next weekend, Jeff Musgrave and I will be in Bellingham, Washington. That's April 13th. If you would like to join us online, we have level 1 and level 2 starting May 15th and May 16th, respectively. That will go through the second week of July. I'm going to get off here before I start coughing terribly, but thank you so much for joining me. Let me know what you think about listening well. Let me know how you felt when someone has listened to you. Maybe it wasn't a medical provider, but maybe it was a friend who you just really value how they listen to you, and drop it in the comments for us. Can't wait to see you guys.
Thank you for listening to the MMOA podcast. If you found this helpful, please share with someone that could benefit. And if you're looking for more practical content to help you better serve older adults, head over to www.mmoa.online, where you can learn more about our free resources, our community, continuing education courses, and our certification. Once again, that's www.mmoa.online. Thanks for listening.